The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus took Peter, John, and James and went up the mountain to pray. While he was praying, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, two men were conversing with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his exodus that he was going to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing with him. As they were about to part from him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But he did not know what he was saying. While he was still speaking, a cloud came and cast a shadow over them, and they became frightened when they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen Son. Listen to him." After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. They fell silent, and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
It's the second week of Lent. About this time, whatever your Lenten penances are, you're starting to ask yourself, why did I give that up? Why is it that I can't have meat on Fridays? Why am I eating fish? Why am I doing all this? And sometimes it's important in life that we stop and ask that question. Why am I doing this? There are a lot of people who will look at their Lenten penances and say, I'm doing this because I'm a bad person and I deserve punishment. That's not exactly the Catholic perspective. The Catholic perspective is that we give these things up to keep ourselves focused on what matters, but also to strengthen our ability to say no. To give it up, because then if I can give up these small things, it'll help me give up the things that are harder to give up. The bad habits that we've built up over the years. But just moving away from bad isn't enough. It really doesn't motivate you that much. We need to be motivated towards, who am I trying to become? Who is it that I want to be? Who is it that God's calling me out of? And who is it that God's calling me into? Who is he calling me into being? A lot of it begins with reflecting on, what has God already done in my life? The first reading and the gospel align very well for this week to just reflect on those reminders of how much God has done in our lives. Why did Jesus take Peter, John, and James up the mountain to see him transfigured? Because he was preparing them for the cross. He was preparing them for the experience of just this utter despair that God lost. He was preparing them that they were going to see Jesus die on the cross. He wasn't saying that to them, but he was showing them a glimpse of his glory so that when it happened, they could look back and go, I know he is more than just a man. I don't know where this is leading, but I know that he is more than just a man. And he's leading us somewhere. Even in this dark hour, may we continue to follow. In the first reading, we have Abram. No, it's not a typo. It's Abraham before his name was changed by God. Abram is being told that you're going to have countless offspring, countless generations, as many as the stars. Why tell him about the stars? So that every night he could look up at the stars and see them and say, that's supposed to remind me how great of a nation my family one day will be. God gives each one of us little things to be reminders that we're going somewhere in His plan, even if we don't know the path. It's important in this time of Lent, when we're asking, why am I giving things up, that we look back at how much has God done for me? What are all the joys that God has poured into my life? How many ways has God blessed me? It's very easy sometimes when we just look at our families to see so many blessings. Look around the community you're in. Crawfordsville is actually a rather nice town. Just the fact that you live in America, you are part of the 2%. When you look at the world, you are part of the 2% of the wealthiest. Even the poor here are part of the 2% of the wealthiest in the world. How many blessings has God poured in your life? Why do I give up chocolate? Because God has done so much for me, it seems silly to even question giving up chocolate for Him. But more than that, He's done so much for me. I want to be the man He made me to be. I want to be the man He made me to be. And a lot of that means I need to learn how to say no to myself. And if I can't say no to chocolate, or a big juicy steak on Friday, how am I really going to say no to the things I need to say yes to the man God wants me to be, to say yes to the man God made me to be? As the Transfiguration was an opportunity for the disciples to look back and say, I know He's capable of more. May we look at those blessings in our life saying, I know He intends good in my life or in the life to come. And may we focus ourselves on doing what He puts in front of us, knowing there's a greater joy to come. But many times we must pass through Good Friday if we're ever to experience the joy of Easter.